If we look at how music notation came into being, in the beginning there were monks who would sing all day long. In fact, they were chosen for the monastery by their voices and their musicality. To be a monk was to be musical. And they sang the liturgical chant of the Roman Catholic Church, handed down purportedly to Pope Gregory, who died in 604. These monks were trying to notate the melody of the chant so they could pass it on. And at first, they used the line to symbolize a tonal center. And they built the chant using symbols and ligatures above and below the line to denote musical phrases. And down the centuries, as the technology evolved, they began to add more lines to notate with greater clarity all the melodic contours. Until, round about the 9th century, they settled on the 4-line staff to codify some 3,000 chants. This staff is still in use at the Vatican today. By 1300, at the birth of counterpoint, the 5-line staff became standard. Different clefs were invented to define which notes were represented by which lines and spaces of the staff. The high clef or the treble clef is also known as the G clef. For this note, G, where the clef wraps around the second line. The next note is A, and stepwise up to B, C, D, E, F, and G again. This is a ledger line. This is A, 1 octave above this A down here, which has a frequency of 440, frequency being measured in cycles per second or hertz, compressions and rarefactions of air molecules or waves in the air. This A has a frequency of 880, twice that of A440, a 2-to-1 ratio which in music is referred to as the octave. These are the 7 diatonic pitch classes which repeat over the audible spectrum and correspond to the white keys on the piano. These are the 5 lines and 4 spaces of the treble clef. E, G, B, D, F, every good boy does fine, and F-A-C-E, or face. So when you're counting the lines or you're counting the spaces, you're counting in thirds. You're counting every other note of the scale. So instead of A, B, C, it's A, C, E. If A is 1, B is 2, C is the third. And we come out with A, C, E, G, B, D, F. And we're back to A where the pattern repeats. This is also known as the circle of thirds. It's important to memorize the 7 pitches in this order since most chords are built on thirds. A, C, E, G, B, D, F, A, C, E, G, B, D, F, A, C, etc. As the treble clef is for the high pitches, the bass clef is for the low pitches. Also called the F clef, between the 2 dots is the line F. The other lines of the bass clef are G, B, D, F, and A. And the spaces A, C, E, and G. Good boys do fine always, all cows eat grass. This is the order of thirds. When counting the lines or in counting the spaces, we go in the order of thirds. So if we take one staff and stack it above another staff, and the top one we make the treble clef, and the bottom one we make the bass clef, connect them with a line at the beginning. This is the grand staff often used in piano music. This note is middle C, directly between the 2 staves, 1 ledger line below the treble and above the bass clef. Notice a 5th above is G in the G clef, and a 5th below is F in the F clef. A 5th meaning the distance of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps above, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps below. Also called the dominant of C is this G, and the subdominant F. This naming is based on tonal proximity in the mathematical series, and can continue. E is mediant, A is submediant, D is supertonic, B is leading tone to the tonic C. This is another way to look at the 7 pitches in terms of their importance to a tonal center. So if we build a stepwise scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C, and going down from middle C, it would go C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Going up, we could also sing Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Likewise, we could sing, coming down if we had a higher voice, F, E, D, and C. Middle C.